have no doubt, this is an election that matters a great deal to anyone who's got a job and thinks they might lose it, anyone who's lost a job, anyone who's been kicked off insurance, anyone who's got aging parents that they're worried about, anyone who's living the everyday experience of America but the other side seems totally out of touch with. I'm not talking about the people that have it easy or born into ease. I'm talking about everybody else in this system that we stood up and tried to fight for. We have an opportunity this year to continue a march towards making it a little easier to make it in America. And we have got to keep fighting forward, not because of anything about, who we hate or dislike. That's what the other side does. This is about what we love. We love our neighbors, we love our parents, we love our kids, and we think that they should have a future. Let's just take a look at a couple of the things that are at stake here, because we do have a choice. Let's take the issue of seniors. My main opponent, Senator Hurtenheim, both have plans for seniors. Under his plan, Medicare starts going bankrupt in 2017. 6 years from now, Medicare starts to go bankrupt. Now, they tried to get rid of Social Security and Medicare before by privatizing it, but the American people wouldn't have it. So now they just want to defund it and bankrupt it so that they can get rid of it that way. But we will not stand for that. We will stand up and protect our seniors and make sure that we live true to the promise that we made to our senior citizens. So we are talking about extending that, not 6 years, we're talking about extending insolvency well into 2029. All right, we're talking about decades down the road, making sure that Medicare is there. Because we heard 3 things from seniors. We want to make sure Medicare is there for us. We've made a major step forward. They want to take it back. The second thing we heard from seniors, we want to make sure our doctors stay in the system. Under their plan, we cut reimbursements to doctors by 20%. How many doctors do you think are going to stay in the system? Again, they've been trying to kill Medicare, and Americans won't go for it, so maybe they think if they just stick it to the doctors enough, they can kill Medicare that way. Well, we not only held true to those reimbursements to doctors, we've given a 10% bonus payment to doctors in Medicare in underserved communities like Farmville and Prince Edward County. Third thing we heard from seniors, quit the nickel and diming of the out-of-pocket expenses. Under our plan, your wellness and prevention visits are free, and the donut hole goes away. Under their plan, they're sticking you with all these co-pays, and they're increasing the cost of your prescription drugs. Now, I don't know who thinks that's a good idea, but apparently they do. Under our system, we want you to go and get that checkup. When you feel that pain in your chest, we want you to get in there right away, because it's morally the right thing to do. We owe that to our seniors. But it's also economically the right thing to do, because we know that when you catch that disease early, we're more likely to be able to cure it, and to cure it cheaper than if we wait. So we got 2 choices. Under our plan, Medicare stays solvent, doctors stay in the system, and you get rid of that nickel and diming of the out-of-pocket expenses, or you can go the other way. Now, when it comes to jobs and the experience of working class families, we were handed a mess, and it's convenient to just say, oh, okay, let's blame President Bush for everything. Well, blaming President Bush doesn't get us where we need to go, which is a robust recovery. The problem is, everything they seem to propose is to just go back to the same things that got us into the mess in the first place. But I'll tell you this, we need to do better than either party has done for middle-class America. We've had a policy of the elites in this country, and both parties, that says we can just send American jobs overseas, and it's somehow going to work itself out because we'll get cheap stuff in return. Sending American jobs overseas is not an economic development strategy. We cannot get there by banks alone. Too much emphasis on bailing out the banks instead of getting a little support to Main Street. So what I've fought for the last 18 months is a policy to start making it, building it, and growing it in America again.
All right.
These are things we can do. We can still make it better than anyone else. I know Joe Day can.
All right.
We can build it. we can grow it. Manufacturing, construction, agriculture, forestry, these cannot be treated as yesterday's news. They must be treated as tomorrow's opportunities. We can do this better. China is not playing for second place on this. They know the energy jobs are the jobs of the future. They've become the biggest consumer of energy, and they said we're only going to buy Chinese-made wind and solar power. And what have the Republicans in the Senate said? Well, let's just hand it to them. Let's just do nothing and make sure that China and India have all those energy jobs. I want those energy jobs here in America. I want them in Virginia. I want them in Prince Edward. There's one thing that I've learned is that you can't sit around waiting for the Senate to do something. You've got to figure out a way to do it yourself. So we've gone out and worked with our poultry farmers and our dairy farmers to turn chicken waste and cow manure into power. We're not just talking about cutting our farmers' electric bills. We're talking about getting rid of them altogether, making their own power. We're not just going to seniors and saying, let's help you with your electric bill. We're talking about cutting seniors' electric bills in half by weatherizing their homes with products manufactured in the United States. So we have got to get away from these policies of the past. We tried once, twice, 3 times, 4 times to get rid of the loophole that rewards companies for sending American jobs overseas. And on Tuesday of this week, it finally became law. We got rid of that loophole. I got to tell you, I'm excited. I'm excited about the next 80 days, and let me tell you why. I know how high the stakes are. Every day I talk to someone who says, you voted to extend unemployment benefits, and that's the only thing keeping my family going right now. Every day I talk to someone who said, we haven't been able to get insurance for 5 years because of my child's illness, and now we can get insurance. I talk every day to people who say, you know, Goodyear laid off 400 employees down in Danville in the worst of the economy. They're back to full shifts now. Those are real families doing real things. Talking to farmers who said, I thought I was going to have to close the family farm, but with these new energy works, we're going to be able to keep this alive for a generation. I know those people in our community. And I know how many teachers out there have thought they might be the next on the chopping block if Congress wasn't able to go in and save those teaching jobs, those police officer jobs, those firefighter jobs. People coming to me and say, oh, those are government jobs, they don't count. I'd like to see you in a classroom trying to teach. I'd like to see you throwing a badge and trying to walk your team. I'd like to see you get that phone call in my house and tell me that's not a real job. This is about rebuilding America's competitive advantage. There is no shortcut. We have got to figure out the way to outcompete the world. Now, the elites may be fine no matter what because they can invest in the companies that are overseas. But for everyone else, that American dream has got to be made real again. And we've got to find it on the job side, and we've got to find it on the cost side. But I need a little more time. I need more time. There are more problems out there to fix. Y'all did an amazing thing a year and a half ago. I got into politics for the first time. People said, Tom, nice kid. No chance. Barack Obama seems like a nice young man. Never going to happen in Virginia. Virginia hadn't gone blue since the Civil Rights Act passed. What did we do? We said, yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
And yes, we did.
And yes,
So
we
now, we have a chance to say, in this district, that this is not about Democrats or Republicans. I know we're here, most of us as Democrats. This is about working and middle-class Americans standing up and reclaiming our democracy. Reclaiming it from the Citizens United decisions that allow tens of millions of dollars in corporate money to define our politics. And this is why I'm excited. I know Megan's excited. We have had a year and a half of them spending over $1 million in lies about me, and lies about health care, lies about energy. And who funded it? The insurance companies, like they're really standing up for everyday folks. The oil companies, the coal companies. Well, now it's our turn. They've thrown everything at us that they can, and we're still standing, and we're still fighting back, because we're doing what's right. And now it's our turn. It's our turn to go knock doors, and make phone calls, and write letters to the editor. It's our turn to go and talk in our church community, or where we work. It's our turn to tell the truth. And the truth is going to take us to victory in this election. Because the stakes are just too high. We need to spend the next 80 days like our country's future depends on it, because it does. Have no doubt. The other party took us to the brink of devastation as a country, and they are happy to take us back. We have to have leadership right now. Not saying how do we bail out what worked 20 years ago, but how do we incentivize what's going to work for the next 20 years. I'm ready to keep putting in the 20-hour days, 7 days a week. You know I do it. You know our team does it, and I know all of you do it. And for the next 80 days, if we fight back, nothing can stop us. And when we win, it's not just 2 more years for me to go up and fight for Prince Edward and Farmville and Appomattox and Cumberland. It's not just 2 more years to fight for farming and manufacturing. It's not just 2 more years for us to continue doing the work that I get to do for our veterans. It's about showing a better kind of politics as possible. So what we want from our leaders is truth and hard work and conviction, not to figure out a way to hide behind a rock or a limb or hide from the tough votes. I think the American people are better than that. I think that's what we've tried to offer. Not me as an individual, but us as a team, us as a family, us as a community. So I ask you today to not leave without answering the question, what are you ready to do for the next 80 days to stand up for your country and your community? How many hours are you willing to give? How many dollars are you willing to give? How many letters are you willing to write? And I don't mean this in a vague sense. I want you to think concretely in your head. I'm going to give one night every week. I'm going to give one weekend every month. I'm going to pick 10 people every week that I think might be independent voters. Or 10 people every week who I know are going to vote this way but may not show up. Figure out in your head what you're prepared to do. And leave here today with that sense of assignment in your heart and in your head. We will win this race. We won against crazy odds last time. This time it's a coin flip. We need that coin to flip our way. And the force, the wind blowing that coin down in our direction is you. It is neighbor-to-neighbor politics. Because, and I just want to end on this, right now, people have gotten to the point that they don't believe what they see on TV. They don't believe even what they get in the mail. They've heard so much craziness on every side. But you would be amazed at how much credibility they put when an actual human being from their community picks up a phone or knocks on their door and says, this is the truth. This is why I care enough about this guy Perriello and this agenda to be out here on a hot Sunday knocking doors. This is why I care enough, and it makes an enormous difference. So from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you all for giving me the chance to serve. People say you must really regret having done this. I call it the most miserable job I've ever done. Every day I get to get up and serve people because you put me there. I hope you'll give me a little more time. And between now and Election Day, I hope you will decide how much time you can give back. Thank you very, very much.